When it comes to Konoha shinobi, it's going to be pretty tough to find a ninja who loved his village more than Itachi Uchiha. On the night of the Uchiha massacre, he took on the burden of killing his lover Izumi Uchiha, who as a reminder was killed by Itachi first during the Uchiha massacre, and the anime changed her death to where Obito was the one who killed her. Now, Itachi also took out his clan and eventually his own parents on that night, all that to prevent a civil war inside the village and to prevent Konoha from being open for invasion by other nations. In the Boruto era, Sasuke Uchiha hasn't had to go to such extremes to protect the village like Itachi did. However, Sasuke has continued on this job that Itachi had, protecting the village from the shadows, from threats that range from village level to Otsutsuki level. It's through this that Sasuke has truly begun to understand the burden that Itachi carried during his time away from the village, causing him to admire his older brother in more ways after his death. So when Sasuke thinks to compare someone to Itachi, it's really high praise, especially given how highly regarded Itachi is to somebody like Sasuke. In today's edition of Sasuke Shinden, the Teacher Star Pupil, we're going to take a look at that moment when Sasuke, upon a moment of reflection, looked at a certain member of Team 7 and compared them to Itachi Uchiha. Now, for those of you guys who are new, Sasuke Shinden, the Teacher Star Pupil, is a Naruto light novel set in the Boruto era between the months that exist between the Mujina Bandits arc and the Vessel arc of the Boruto manga. For anyone who's interested in reading the novel, I'll leave a link down in the description box for anyone who wishes to do so. Now, in the scene I'm going to share with you guys, Sasuke makes it a point to continue his interrogation of the person who he suspects to be the ringleader of the religious cult that is planning to attack Konoha, a cult that started out of the Land of Water that Sasuke's been monitoring as part of his mission. The person Sasuke believes to be the true ringleader is the pop singer who's named Lily, who Boruto has unknowingly aided during this time by taking on an unofficial mission to protect her. Sasuke quickly goes annoyed both at Boruto's defense of Lily, claiming that she's not a bad guy, and Lily playing a very dangerous game of verbal chess with Sasuke, in a game where Boruto doesn't realize that he's too blinded and is being used as a pawn for Lily to score points on Sasuke. Now, it's during this time when Sasuke is preparing a more aggressive method of interrogation, one that clearly shows that his patience has run extremely thin with Lily, that a certain member of Team 7 steps in and displays something to Sasuke that makes him compare that person to Itachi Uchiha. And to give you guys a brief reminder, Sasuke's patience is on 0 right now. If you recall, Sasuke whipped out a perfect Susanoo earlier on in the scene in order to get his message across. With the scene and the context finally being set, it's here I'm going to begin reading the selected passages from the novel, and then I'm going to come back to you guys my thoughts, and it's here I'm going to begin quoting. "Why won't you tell me?" Sasuke asked quietly. "If you truly don't get along with your father, then why are you covering for him?" Silence descended upon the room. Lily held her tongue and swallowed back her words in defiance. "If you're not going to tell me voluntarily, I didn't want to have to do this, but my only choice is to force you to spit it out." Sasuke was about to activate his Sharingan when a hand reached out to grab his wrist. "Just stop it already," Sarada said. "Dad, Lily's not going to tell you." "No way, it's not going to happen." Sasuke looked at his daughter. "Her father's trying to kill her because she rebelled against him and left the island. What reason could she possibly have not to tell me everything that she knows about him?" Sasuke asked. "She has a really good reason," Sarada said impatiently. "They're family." Family. The word was unexpected to Sasuke. Sasuke blinked, caught off guard by his daughter. No matter how much of a criminal he might be, there's no way a daughter's gonna sell out her dad. If I was in Lily's position, I wouldn't tell anyone anything about you, Dad. We're family. She said it as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. The face of Sasuke's brother flashed through his head. His brother Itachi, who had spared Sasuke even though Danzo had ordered him to eliminate the entire clan. His brother, who had made Sasuke kill him in the end. Itachi. He was the kindest man Sasuke had ever known, and had sacrificed himself so his brother could live. The choice was so desperate, Sasuke had a hard time believing his brother had even made it, given how smart he was, how loyal Itachi was to the mission, how loyal he was to the village. Because they were family, his brother had once taught him this, and now his daughter was reinforcing the lesson Itachi taught him. Sasuke glanced over at Boruto. He looked to be on tenterhooks. anxious as he watched Sarada and Sasuke argue. Naruto used to always look the same with Sasuke. He let out a short sigh. I'll recognize your right to silence, but that doesn't mean that you're clear to suspicion. Until this is settled, you'll be under house arrest until I say otherwise. Sasuke said. Lily clucked her tongue and looked away, annoyed at Sasuke. Sasuke raised his eyebrows. The gesture was rude, entirely at odds with their idol persona. End quote. So what I really love right here is the fact that Sarada stepped in to remind Sasuke of a lesson that Itachi had taught to Sasuke several times in the time since the Uchiha massacre, that sometimes when it comes to family, even the most rational and quick-witted of people will go to extremes to protect those that they care for if there's a reasonable possibility for them to do so. Lily claimed to hate her father, just as Sasuke hated Itachi, but in order to hate, oftentimes one has to know love at some point during that time. Now, just to be clear, if Lily was lying to Sasuke, then this is indeed the reason why he said he'd be able to learn the truth that she was lying to him. Sasuke, at the age of 33, his Sharingan Genjutsu is far more advanced than he was when he was a 17-year-old during the war, despite what a lot of people say. Sasuke was prepared to do what he did in the other Sasuke Shinden light novel, that one being called Sasuke Shinden Sunrise, where Sasuke used his Sharingan not only to send messages, but also read the memories of people under Genjutsu. There is no Genjutsu barrier that would have been able to resist Sasuke once he turned on his Sharingan and read Lily's mind and read Lily's memories. Any secrets that she was harboring, anything she was leaving out, Sasuke would have uncovered it. For anyone doubting Sasuke's Genjutsu skill, I'll remind you of a couple of things. One is something that happened during the time travel arc where Sasuke's Sharingan Genjutsu was overpowered enough that even after using Genjutsu on Naruto during the time slip arc, Naruto almost 20 years later couldn't recall meeting Boruto in the past, which means that Genjutsu was still in effect. There's a reason why even the Sage of Six Paths became a Sasuke fanboy when he saw Sasuke's skill with Genjutsu. That's like having Kevin Durant tell someone that he's never seen a jump shot with a smoother release than theirs. It's very high praise. Another thing I found fascinating is that we see how strongly Sarada values her love for Sasuke, and she says that if she was ever in Lily's shoes, that she would never give up the information on Sasuke because of how much she loves her father. It speaks volumes about the love, and it speaks volumes about the strength that Sarada gains from her love for her father. What's very interesting right here is that afterwards, because of Sarada's words, Sasuke not only gives Lily a small pass despite still being suspicious of her, all while keeping her on house arrest, but Sasuke even goes as far as to face the press and get publicly dragged for the incident at the stadium. Sasuke publicly takes his blame, which also spares his daughter and Team 7 from facing the harsh penalty from Naruto in the Hokage office for carrying out a mission off the books with somebody that Sasuke suspects is a terrorist ringleader. However, that's going to be it for this edition of Sasuke Shinden. My question for you guys is twofold. So, what do you guys think about Sarada's declaration that under no circumstances would she give up any information on Sasuke if she was being held captive? And number two, do you guys think that Sarada has what it takes to be a better ninja than Itachi? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching until then. Have an awesome day, guys.